Welcome to Station, the Blue Jays series recap show. You are about to listen to part 2 of our State of the Season. Rob and Dustin join us to continue to talk about the current issues with the Jays and what they would do to improve results going forward. Thank you for listening, and we hope that you enjoy. So one of the other issues facing this team, and I think that's really changed from April to May. April, this team looked tight. You know, everything was just like the moving parts were all, well lubricated and working together. And Dustin, that does not seem to be the case in May. I feel like runners are just running into outs and just doing all kinds of weird stuff on the bases.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier, like, what happened to this team. Like, what did you do with my Blue Jays, and who are you? That's what I feel like in terms of they're just the little things that are on, running the bases, some defensive stuff. I mean, it's not just Bo Bichette. I mean, Matt Chapman has had some gaffes on at third base.
I don't think Bo Bichette is even part of this sloppiness.
He's no.
High profile throw, but like
it's tough when you end a game with your error. I mean, it looks bad, but no, it's running the bases. And the big culprit for me has been Cavan Biggio. I just, if this guy's on this team to get on base and to pinch run, and he can't do either of those things. If the guy was not named Biggio, he would not be on the Blue Jays. I have to believe that at this point.
Yeah, it's you're right. Like, I mean, his job is to come in and specifically pinch run, and if you can't do that, that's a problem. And at that point, you're actually harming the team instead of not even just not contributing, but if you're hurting the team, that's definitely an issue. Now, I think it might also be, like I said, lack of playing time, but maybe it's just time for him. Maybe he needs a change of scenery. He's not getting the playing time that he wants. The Jays don't feel confident putting him in there. Maybe it's time to put him up, for a trade. But again, who's going to want him? And in order for people to want him, you kind of got to showcase him.
Well, someone will take a flyer on him with that last name, and
they would. But what do you get for him?
I don't want to agree with him at all, but I think there is a lot of truth to what he just said. Is that Nathan Lucas gets sent down at the drop of a hat, right? Now, I don't believe we have that particular option with Biggio, but he's of all the sons of former big league ball players, he has not panned out as we had hoped.
And again, I just think it's when he's out there playing, I think he'll get his timing down, he'll get his head a bit more into the game, and I get it. It's tough on him if you're not out there every day, even every other day. So, in that sense, I kind of give the guy a break, but
he crush a home run last night.
Last night.
Yeah, he can run into one every once in a while, but
big deal, right? When you're down a few runs, right, and then you get a home run at the end of the game with nobody on base. Okay, well, big deal. What's one run, right? You're still going to lose the game.
Yeah. But and he's kind of the poster boy for the sloppiness. I mean, I don't understand how you can overrun the base like that. I'm sure it happens to other teams, but that one stolen base, he just flew past.
And again, it, like we talked about before too, part of the issue was bad luck, right? You run, and that's part of the bad luck, right? You run, you go hard at the one opportunity you have, and bam.
Can I stop you there for a moment, Rob? So I don't think that's bad luck. All right, Dustin and I created. Hold on, No, I'm gonna give an example of bad luck in a
Okay.
moment. But Dustin and I used to play in the Newmarket Men's Baseball League.
Yeah.
All right. And if you overslit a base like that, you bring in beers next week, all right? You are bringing beers.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Kangaroo court is happening, and like he was way like there was like a slip and slide there or something.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
what was
yeah.
going
It was too hard. I get it.
saying
He's trying
that
to be what he was trying to do. He's trying to be kind of a little bit tricky.
Cheeky.
He's trying to
Going too
slide
hard.
to the
Yeah.
outside of the base, trying to make sure that he, gets out of the range of any swipe. And he just, he just
yeah.
gaffed.
So
Slid too
if
late.
we want to talk about bad luck. Biggio is on second base. Let me set the scene here. Biggio's on second base, and there is a liner right up the middle. Okay, Biggio takes. I don't even know if it's a step. It's like a half step the wrong direction.
Yeah, and that's what. Yeah, and the pickoff
So it's over
or
it. Like
something.
to me, like yes, is he at fault for that? Yes, he is.
Yes.
Because you should
You
not
freeze
be
on a liner. I mean,
you freeze on a liner, but that to me is more bad luck than it is anything else. Like that slide was, I don't know, borderline egregious.
Yeah.
Kevin, I love the heart and I love the flexibility that he brings, but what good is it if
Yeah,
he's
like
a
I
black
want him.
hole?
I want him to do well. Like he came up with Vladdy and came up with Bo, and I think Danny Jansen too. And you want him to do good. Well, his dad, but
Hold on, Rob. You want Biggio to do well, but you want Kirk to do bad.
no, I don't want Kirk
know.
to do bad. I just think
he's overrated.
I just think he's overrated. Biggio, he's had a bit more time, and he's kind of proven in the past that he, has been able to hit and to run and to play multiple positions. So I'm not saying I have any sort of a leniency or he's on a short rope or anything. I'm the first to admit it. Yeah, I think it's time that maybe it's time to part ways. But what do you get for him with Biggio? But
I don't know if does he have you can't send him down. Does he
No.
have options?
I don't think.
I think
I don't.
can.
You
No, I think you
DFA him,
can.
but you think you could send Biggio down?
I think you can because I think he got sent down last year, year before.
Dustin, can you look that while we talk? Can you look that up, please?
Or maybe, or maybe you do I think you do like a fake injury, and then he's rehabbing
left arm shittiness.
rehabbing in Buffalo, for a few games so he can get it right. Hey, maybe that's what you do with Manoah, right? Yeah, I mean, I know I suggested to you, Alex, that maybe he should take a page out of the Yankees books, right? But with some of the pine tar or resin or whatever you want to call it,
bring back the spitball.
Maybe they should cheat. But I mean, hey, maybe that's a solution for Manoah, right? Like a workaround is just saying, and Biggio and not Kirk, you don't have a backup catcher, but you quote unquote injury, right? Strained groin, and go on the 10-day DL, and then you rehab in Buffalo, and when they say rehab, it's basically get better. So
this article says he has three options remaining on his contract. So they could send him down.
They can send him down.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that plays a little bit into his last name then. Saying that, he does in terms of his options, first base, second base, obviously outfield, he does offer a bit more on that, but not really much of the plate being offered these days. 159 his average, 520 OPS, 3 home runs, and 5 RBIs.
Yikes, man. I mean, there's got to be somebody down in the minors. What's his name? The Otto Lopez guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a speedster who I believe can play kind of multiple positions as well. They got to be close to doing something about Biggio. I think they're giving him maybe till June or something. I don't know.
Well, I think at this point of this season and this juncture, I think there's going to have to be a lot of things considered. Let's talk about some suggested fixes. Put on your John Schneider's hat for a moment, gentlemen, and tell me some things that you would do. And of course, we don't know that this will make the team better, but what you think may improve results for this team.
I've always said that a manager doesn't win you games. A manager can only lose you games.
Correct.
So, I'm not sure if I'm John Snyder what I'm doing. I'm probably pulling my hair out, kicking the can, saying things are unacceptable. I don't know.
What about an opener for Manoah?
A what?
Mm.
An opener like Trevor Richards, like opening, because he pitched well today, Trevor Richards. So maybe you do an opener from Manoah, get him a little time to settle into the game, bring him in, second, maybe third inning.
That is very thought provoking.
Very razy of you.
Yeah. I know. I think that's a really good suggestion, right? If we have an arm like Trevor Richards that can make start out a game,
and then even like catchers, like I know Dalton Varsho is a catcher, but maybe you put him as catcher, and maybe you give. Can't believe I'm saying this. I don't know if it's the solution, but maybe you give Biggio a bit more time in left field. Maybe just give him a chance to try to warm up a bit. Maybe he comes around. Like, he's also a lefty bat and he's got some speed. You kind of take Kirk out of the lineup because he's not really producing. But I think between the two, between Kirk and Biggio, yeah, probably Kirk is doing a lot better.
Kirk's
Biggio,
doing a lot better.
Yeah.
I mean, Biggio is negative WAR right now, so.
Yeah.
Hold on. How did we not bring this up in the last segment? Cavan Biggio is negative WAR.
Negative.
I thought the worst you could get was
WAR on the season. Yeah.
I thought the worst WAR you could get was 0. You're just like an average player. No. Oh wow.
Yeah, but he's worse than average, right?
All right.
He's costing the Jays 0.4 WAR.
Wow.
Right now to be on this team. So yeah, I don't know. Take the team out to a strip club. I don't. There's got to be. I think what we've been talking about is there's kind of this nebulous problem out there that I don't know. I don't think the Jays' approach is bad. I don't think their work ethic is bad. Their attitude's bad. There's nothing wrong here. Maybe they're just not loose. Maybe they're just not. I don't know. Maybe they just need a shakeup. Something. What I forget the name of the manager, the Rays manager that used to do. No.
Charlie Montoya?
No. 4 or 5 years ago.
I know.
He used to do stuff like, everybody wear, weird shirt day or some shit. Like he would do kind of weird, loosen up your team kind of morale boosting activities.
So what you're suggesting is that, after last year and home run jackets and peanut showers, it got too serious and we need to bring some fun back. Now, I don't want the home run jacket ever coming back in that dugout, nor do I want peanut showers, but I think you could do some other things, just maybe switch it up.
Yeah, they need a home run thing, at least, just something to, I don't know, lighten it up. But I think, like I said, I think their approach is good. They've built a good team. Like, I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. This is a good team, despite what the last 12 games it's been, have looked like. This is a really good team, and they just need to figure out a way to put it all together. I don't know what that way is, but
Well, we saw on the weekend that Manoah lost his personal catcher, so Danny Jansen came in. I would, Jansen is picked up a bit of an injury, so we're not going to unfortunately see that again anytime soon. But I think small things like this, I wouldn't just trot out Kirk every game when Manoah is pitching. Like I personally do not believe that Alek Manoah has pitched well enough to really, deserve or command a personal catcher. Like that just
Yep.
doesn't make sense to me.
Again, and that's a good point, and that again brings it back that they've given Manoah so much leeway,
Yeah.
and making him the ace, making him opening day, making him play off, and I think it was too soon, and yeah, I don't think he warrants a personal catcher.
Was Jansen pitching for him in the Orioles game? I didn't watch that one.
Yeah,
Jansen was,
yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
he did well. He was doing well.
Well, he did. It was
Mhm.
one of his better games. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I think maybe I don't know. Maybe he's just too comfortable with Kirk. It's just maybe the pitch mix or something. They're just predictable or something.
well. And Jansen brings a bit
Send
more
the books out.
experience, too, right? He brings a bit more experience behind the plate, and that's why I thought, the ship's not is in some troubled waters. Let's get someone at the wheel who has been around, and Danny Jansen's a very important and respected player on the Blue Jays. Fans love Danny Jansen, but behind the scenes, he is a very respected player in that clubhouse as well. Now, I was actually messaging Rob today, distracting myself from the work I was supposed to be doing, and I think coming into this season, I think the Jays made a couple assumptions, and Rob, you can help me out with maybe the second one, but the first assumption was that the pitching would be better. Like I don't think, if you lined up John Schneider, Ross Atkins, and Shapiro, I think they would genuinely be shocked that this starting rotation, and in turn at times bullpen has had the issues that it's had. I think they assume that Alek Manoah, if he wasn't going to be his all-star self, he would be at least decent, and he's wouldn't be right now essentially a hole in the lineup, or sorry, in the pitching staff.
We thought there would be some regression, but not like this.
Yeah, they expected a lot more from their pitchers. I mean, they kind of knew after last year that Barrios and Kikuchi, you're looking at number 4, number 5 starter, so it's kind of catch-22, right? Like the guys that you thought were going to be great aren't that great, and the guys that you thought weren't going to be that great actually are turning out to be better. But it still is it good enough? No.
No, it is not.
No.
No.
Looks like just on that front, on the starting pitcher front, I saw, was it yesterday? Ryu's looking to come back by All-Star break.
Yeah.
That's his timeline. Do we want
that's
that?
Well,
Well, considering the way Kikuchi's going right now, I
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think having him available would be a bad thing.
No.
Yeah, maybe maybe he becomes a 6th starter, and you give guys an extra day's rest.
Right.
Maybe that's
or you
maybe
do
that's
your
maybe that's a solution.
Or you do your opener with him. If he's just coming back from Tommy John,
Yeah,
maybe he
build
goes
him
2 or 3, and then you go
Yeah.
Ryu Manoah for 6-7 innings, the two of them. That'd be a reasonable approach.
The other assumption that has now just come to me is, and I don't want to, we've talked about it already, but I think they assumed that Alejandro Kirk would be considerably better at the plate this year. I think that was also, Yeah, and not that the thing is, I don't think it really changes much because I think there's somewhat of a platoon situation there happening anyway. But I do think that, coming off, a Silver Slugger, like I think, I think it was reasonable to expect a little bit more out of him. Now he did report late to spring training, but I think those gears and wheels should be well lubricated by now. So I think let's keep an eye on him from now until the All-Star break, and then see where he is at. Now, I did want to talk about underperformers. We kind of touched on, I think, pretty much all of them already. Manoah, Kevin Biggio,
Kirk.
Alejandro Kirk. Espinal, I think, has got to be in there. He was an All-Star last year, although an alternate. But I think borderline in this. I think kind of Varsho, kind of a little bit disappointing. I did expect a little bit more from him, I guess, at the bat. But looking at his stats, I think he's pretty much the same as he was last year.
Well, even George Springer, I just think those guys aren't hitting their normal numbers. So it's not that they're if these players can just do what their normal play their normal numbers, then the Jays will be okay. But they're underperforming a little bit, which is having a big impact. So yeah, like the Varsho and Springer, maybe even Vladdy, because I don't know how many home runs he should potentially be having by now, but he doesn't have that many. I think
he has 8 home runs.
Yeah, but okay, so maybe he's tied, right? So, but I
Boaz
think
9 and
9, yeah,
Vladdy.
so he's leading. Who would have predicted that, right? So, I don't know. I just think maybe Vladdy is, maybe he's coming around a little bit, but he's, I think, underperforming a little bit.
Well, but he is hitting from, like, his average he's hitting just below 300. I think up until the last 2 weeks, most people would agree that Vladdy was having a improved season. Now, power-wise, doesn't seem like it, but I think the power ties into the overall seems like approach on from this team is, more opposite field, less hitting for home runs. But Vladdy, he's looked like he's been swinging for the fences of late.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about some positives because I would say up until 2:45 this afternoon, I was still in the positive camp, and I'm with baseball. I'm the perennial optimist. So I do want to talk about some positives here, and I would like to start with I think there are a bunch of them. Chris Bassitt, I think, has been, an incredible pickup. Like, where would this team be without Chris Bassitt?
Yeah.
I shudder to think of where we would be without Chris Bassitt. He's been a workhorse, that's for sure.
Let me answer my own question. We'd be in last place.
We are in last place.
We are in last place. We'd be in the same place we would be. We would just have 5 less wins by the looks
less
of it.
hope. Yeah.
Yeah, less hope.
No, he's been great. He had the complete game there the other start, and he's just been a workhorse in terms of innings eater, effective, shutdown pitcher. He's the guy you want on the mound right now. If playoffs started tomorrow, we wouldn't be in them, but if they did, and we were, he'd be starting game 1 for me.
Ooh, not Kevin Gausman.
No.
Ooh. Rob, you're going to disagree on that one, but
yeah, I would still put Gausman as my number 1.
Well, they have. I do think Gausman's been like, if we want to talk about luck, Kevin Gausman has been extremely unlucky. So Gausman is 2-3, Bassett is 5-3. Gosman has a 3.14 ERA. Bassett has a 3.03, which was helped by that complete game and a lot of the he's been going deep into games, and they have pretty much a very similar whip. Bassett at 1.04 and Gosman at 1.08. But yeah, I think those are should our fortunes reverse themselves, those are pitchers starting 1 and 2 for sure.
Yep.
I mean, there is some argument for using your best pitcher in game 2, but if you lose game 1, then you want game 2. You want to make sure you win game 2. I don't know.
So was Rob wrong all along, and really they just wanted Kevin Gosman to pitch game number 2? I'm just breaking.
I know. I hear you. That could be one theory. I'm not going to agree with it, but.
So let's talk about some more positives. Kevin Kiermaier, another pickup in the offseason. He actually has the 3rd highest OPS on the team, and he's hitting his average is 312. As I said, an 831 OPS, 3 home runs, and 14 RBIs. I don't really think Kevin Kiermaier could be playing any better than he actually is.
Yeah, great pickup. At the beginning of the season, I said, he was always a Jays killer, so I'm glad he's on our team and not against our team. He's got the speed, has the defense, and able to put the bat on the ball, get on base. Definitely a big positive.
Would you move Kiermaier in the lineup?
No.
I mean,
no, I wouldn't. I'll tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
Having him on the number 9 almost puts him. It's a way to turn the lineup over, and if he can get on base for Bo, George, Vladdy, then you're generating runs, right? So that's why I would keep him there, and then to put him on. What after in front of Kirk, like you're getting on, even if he gets on as a single, maybe he tries to steal second, and then then you got Kirk up. Is it do you feel confident enough? Can he come in for can Kirk bat him in for an RBI? I don't think so. I think where he's on where he is in the 9th spot, I think he's good there. He seems, and he's doing well, and if you move him again, would it have an impact on him? Because then maybe they pitch him a little bit differently. So I would keep him in the 9.
Yeah, I'm sympathetic to that argument. I think that makes some sense, especially if we're talking about part of the problem here is not stringing together hits enough to score runs. I mean, the flip side of that sort of conversation is that you want your best hitters to hit as many times throughout the game as you can, and so you move them up in the lineup. But then is Kiermaier really? I mean, he's not. He's not a super high average guy. I mean, he's doing a great job. He's getting on base and he's getting some timely hitting. But I wouldn't say there's a justification to move him up either. I would keep him where he is.
Yeah.
Well, I like where he is. I like that he's like this second leadoff hitter in the 9 hole. Totally, I'm 100% on board with that. But if we're talking about changes, if we're talking about shaking up things, I do think there are things that we have to look at. And if this team continues to just not pick up wins, decisions are gonna have to be made, and
that could be
right, he is a lefty too, so he can.
Well, that's the other thing, right? Is you put you put a lefty bat in to kind of mix it up, right? So you don't want all your lefties in the middle of the lineup, you want to try to mix it up, and the pitchers have to pitch a little bit different. So, if a pitcher is pitching to a couple of righties, then they pitch to a lefty, and then they back to a couple of righties, that's would be beneficial. But if to do it, to have all your lefties, so who do you mix them up with, right? Like if you bring Kirk, right, but then Kirk bats, he bats right, or so. Yeah, but you do have to. I think maybe you do have. If you do decide to mix it up, then yeah, you're looking at moving him up in the order, and then, hey, if it means Brandon Belt going somewhere else too, maybe you got to move him. But yeah, definitely they have to do something. So maybe shaking up the order is an option.
All right, some other positives. I feel like we talk about him a lot, but Bo Bichette leads the majors in hits. Not really that surprising, as he led the American League last year in hits, but I think another player that, aside of that one throw in Philadelphia, which I don't think you were on that podcast, but I have a young son, and I was just like, oh, come on. I just yelled. You just yelled at the TV. I was like, it was 10th inning, and it was a high profile bad throw. But I think defensively, I'm waiting for that shoe to drop, another time. But defensively, he's been pretty solid. And at the plate, he's doing what he does best, right? And 326 average, leading the team in. He leads the team in pretty much all hitting categories, in average, in OPS, in home runs. He is second in RBIs, but again, he is leading the majors in hits, and I think he's up by about maybe like 5 or 6 hits over Freddie Freeman. So another positive.
Gotta love Bo. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with him at all. Nothing. I think that even the small hit you can take to his defensive abilities. I think honestly, it's probably not as bad as most people make it out to be. I think it looks bad because that's kind of the narrative of him, is like he's not a great defender, blah 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 blah. I mean, I think it was yesterday's game. He made an amazing play that just went totally unnoticed to me from the announcer point of view. Like the ball was hit on sort of a little looper, and it bounced 2 inches before his glove, and he caught it, and he made a really quick, accurate throw to first. He's a really good shortstop. I think actually people maybe underestimate him there because of maybe a little bit of a bad decisions is a lot of what his errors at shortstop have been, in terms of throwing when he probably should have just ate the ball or something.
All right, well, that's all the time we have. Thanks for listening.
This has been Station to Station, the Blue Jays series recap show. We will be back early next week with our review of the weekend series versus the New York Mets. Thank you for listening, and until next time.